I'm not gonna lie. Sprite, the McDonald's Sprite, not the regular Sprite. The regular Sprite is like mid. Like, I don't ever go to McDonald's and be like, yep, give me the regular Sprite, bitch. Like, I don't do that shit. They took away the best Sprite, and it was that tropical Sprite. I don't know if anybody remembers the tropical Sprite, but if you know, you know. The tropical Sprite is probably the best Sprite ever made. I've never seen that shit in stores. Shout out to Jordan the Stallion, arguably one of the funniest dudes, and he just gave out all the Netflix codes. So, round of applause for Jordan real quick. And now we're done.
I've never had it. Its favorite flavor comparison, though, is that it tastes like what a Super Saiyan 2 looks like. Crisp and full of...
What the fuck does a Super Saiyan 2 fucking taste like, nigga? Shit now? Like, out of all of them, you chose Super Saiyan 2, bro? Like, you could have said Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, you could have said Rage Brawly, like, Ultra Ego, like, but you compare it to a Super Saiyan 2, nigga? Like, get the fuck up out of here.
It's even gotten to the point...
Right over here.
Can you really taste the difference? When it comes to all these Sprites, I probably couldn't taste the difference.
Lunchtime, which is great. We have some fries, so we can test out whether this Sprite...
I'm gonna lie to you. Alright, anyways, what's good, YouTube? If you haven't already, check out the Twitch at twitch.tv/Kashuhmill. Link is in the description below. Today we're gonna be reacting to something different. I never reacted to Food Theory, but I was like, hey, why not react to it today? So we're gonna be watching Food Theory, The Secret to McDonald's Sprite. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Sprite, the McDonald's Sprite, not the regular Sprite. The regular Sprite is like mid. Like, I don't ever go to McDonald's and be like, yep, give me the regular Sprite, bitch. Like, I don't do that shit. They took away the best Sprite, and it was that tropical Sprite. I don't know if anybody remembers the tropical Sprite, but if you know, you know. The tropical Sprite is probably the best Sprite ever made. I've never seen that shit in stores. Has anyone seen that shit in stores? Comment down below what store you seen the tropical Sprite. Because the McDonald's tropical Sprite, is fire. It's fire. It's better than any Sprite I've ever had. Better than, and once they got rid of the tropical Sprite, downhill. I stopped going to McDonald's. I ain't gonna lie, I stopped going all fucking together. But let's see this Food Theory.
McDonald's Sprite tastes way better than just ordinary Sprite. Why is it so good?
What is the secret to McDonald's soda fountains? It's a great question that's been circulating around the internet for the last 5 years, and that is what I aim to answer today. And let me tell you, the truth is in the place that you'd least suspect it.
Oh shit.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, the channel that hits different. For a while now, the internet's been obsessed with the fizzy mystery that is McDonald's Sprite. In case you've...
I'm not gonna lie, I don't be on social media that much, so I don't be seeing none of this. I really don't be seeing none of this. So I'm glad I'm watching this. But shout out to Jordan the Stallion, arguably one of the funniest dudes, and he just gave out all the Netflix codes, so... round of applause for Jordan real quick. And now we're done.
I've never had it. It's like perfectly chilled liquid Pop Rocks bursting with lemon.
That's false. Because, like, you ever been to McDonald's and that shit is watered down? I promise you, a lot of McDonald's got watered down Sprite nowadays. I'm gonna say it again. The tropical Sprite was undefeated.
Lime flavor. The general consensus is that the Sprite being served out of McDonald's soda fountain is stronger, giving it an electric or even a spicy taste.
Why is it spicy?
You need to order a Sprite, extra spicy.
Extra spicy?
Whoa,
it's spicy!
Others have said that this stuff is so powerful it could probably fry fish.
I'm about to fry some fish. You want some?
Yeah, but we don't have a grease.
I got something strong enough.
My personal favorite flavor comparison, though, is that it tastes like what a Super Saiyan 2 looks like. Crisp and full of...
What the fuck does a Super Saiyan 2 fucking taste like, nigga? Like, what would tell you about a Super Saiyan 2? Like, that's the most useless transformation now. Like, out of all of them, you chose Super Saiyan 2, bro? Like, you could have said Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, you could have said Rage Brawly, like, Ultra Ego, like, but you compare it to a Super Saiyan 2, nigga? Like, get the fuck out of here.
It's even gotten to the point where McDonald's and Sprite themselves have had to acknowledge this trend.
Hey everybody, Chris K here. I'm in the mood for some spice. First, the spicy Sprite. That's spicy.
But obviously the next question that I...
would y'all take pleasure in that? Like if niggas called your product spicy Sprite, like I don't know, like I mean, if it tastes that good, cool. If they mean it a good.
Everyone has on their mind is what exactly makes the drink so explosive, so good, so crisp. Well, the internet has plenty of theories, food theories, trying to answer exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, he has a great voice for what he's doing right now, because like a lot of some people like that do this and narrate. Trash voice. He got a great voice for the food theories. No wonder why he popping.
That. In general, the guesses circulating the internet boil down to 4 key factors. The first is that the Sprite syrup getting shipped to the restaurants gets special treatment due to a long-standing partnership between Coke and McDonald's.
Coke sends syrup in plastic bags to other restaurants and stores. They send the syrup to McDonald's in stainless steel containers.
The second theory is that the carbonation levels are just higher at McDonald's.
Damn. Them niggas got like the special quality shit? Fuck.
Get more carbonation, that's why it burns your nose.
Third is that the Sprite is extra sweet to better combat the saltiness of McDonald's fries.
McDonald's hired a sensory scientist, and he found out that the salt that they use in their fries enhances the flavor of the Sprite.
And finally, some have thrown all of that other stuff away and said that there's no difference, but rather everything's the result of McDonald's having a larger straw.
Apparently the straw is bigger, so you get more flavor in your mouth. Okay, this one's definitely bro. Who even writes this?
So today we're putting this debate to rest once and for all by digging into.
Y'all believe that? Comment down below if you believe the straw is why the Sprite tastes better. Because you be out your damn mind.
The facts, and then running our own battery of scientific tests. Why is McDonald's Sprite so different? Is it different? Or is this just a self-fulfilling prophecy started by the internet hype machine that now everyone just implicitly believes? Get ready, theorists. Today we obey our thirst, but follow the facts.
Alright, put me on game. Enlighten me. Make me the enlightened one.
Now, before we get to my big taste experiment, putting all these theories to the test, I think it makes sense to look at the possible explanations one at a time to see if there's anything we can debunk right off the bat. The first hypothesis that I've seen circulating around is that Coca-Cola specially delivers the Sprite syrup to McDonald's restaurant in these large stainless steel tanks. This is the result of a long-standing relationship between the two companies.
But like, let's see, like who else? Cause like, doesn't else like, don't other food restaurants partner with them as well? What was it? Coca-Cola? It says Coca-Cola and McDonald's take their relationship very seriously as licensed partner. It literally says Coca-Cola system delivers its products to McDonald's in stainless steel tank. After syrup is delivered, each McDonald's filters its waters through its filtration system. Oh. Okay, McDonald's is one of their largest corporations. Okay. Okay. They got it. Got it.
And right off the bat, this one does seem to be rooted in some amount of truth. You see, the relationship between Coke and McDonald's started in the early days of the restaurant's expansion, with the two companies partnering up and largely growing together. Their relationship is so strong that Coke is contractually barred from selling syrup to other restaurants for less than what McDonald's pays, even if it means costing them business. There's even a division at Coca-Cola dedicated to specifically McDonald's business, aptly named the McDonald's division. Look, they're saving the creativity for the marketing and not the department naming. Needless to say, Coke works closely with McDonald's to make sure that they have everything they need to deliver their product in the best way possible. And in turn, McDonald's spends a large amount of resources to ensure that they're giving their customers the best Coca-Cola experience they can. But does any of this actually affect the way that syrup is being shipped? Yes, it does. You see, the concept of delivering the syrup in stainless steel vats makes a lot of sense. The steel helps ensure that the syrup's flavor is the purest it can be. And when you look at the reality of the situation, Coke is indeed sending syrups to McDonald's in steel vats. There's just one problem. It's not Sprite syrup. According to James McIntyre, a franchise owner from Pennsylvania, not all Coke products get the same treatment. The syrup for Coca-Cola, that arrives in stainless steel tanks. The Sprite, however, does not. It instead comes in the standard plastic bags that everyone else is using. That's right, it's just a box lined with a plastic bag. We even went to our local McDonald's and—
real? So you're telling me You telling me they got like the party size shits that you get from like Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A, they got like, I think it's a tea that you get a big enough thing that's in the bag. So you telling me they got the Sprite version of that shit and they just load it up? All right, you good? That's fucking crazy.
Asked to speak to the manager, in the least Karen way possible, to see if we could get confirmation of any of this. And yep, only Coca-Cola gets the stainless steel vat treatment, not Sprite. So that's one major theory debunked right off the bat. Next up, the water quality and overall level of carbonation. As hype around McDonald's soda has circulated across the internet for the past 5 years, various sources have started to come clean about how clean McDonald's soda fountains really are. And it's...
I was gonna say, I don't think they're that clean, bro. I honestly don't think McDonald's, because that's where, like, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but that's where, like, all the homeless people be at. Like, everybody come in, come out. Like, they're quick with it. It be busy. Like, the fountains aren't as clean as I think they are.
It's here that our friend James McIntyre, that franchise owner from Pennsylvania I talked about in the last paragraph, helps us out again, revealing that McDonald's has not one, but 4 different water filtration systems that the water has to go through before it ever...
All right, now the filtration system is different than like the presence and the actual looking of the shit, so...
makes it to the soda tower. This process includes a state-of-the-art reverse osmosis filter that works by applying pressure to the unfiltered water, forcing it through a membrane and into a storage tank, which in turn helps remove dissolved minerals, bacteria, and other solids. This makes the water virtually tasteless before the syrup gets mixed in, thereby ensuring a consistent flavor profile wherever you're going in the country. Usually, a restaurant or a gas station that has itself a soda fountain is going to connect the water line directly to the machine. Rarely are they incorporating a filter, let alone 4. This makes the process simpler and cheaper, but apparently McDonald's isn't afraid to spend a little bit more. But it's not all about purity. Once the water is squeaky clean and tasteless, the next step in the process is for them to make it sub-zero. Alright, not exactly sub-zero, but just really cold. See, the other big difference is the temperature that
this all happens as I push the button. So when I push the button, all this shit happens.
McDonald's keeps everything at. Crazy. Normally, other soda fountains are set to...
Like, think about knowing that. Like, now I'm gonna go to the store and I'll be like, when my girl goes to get her some Sprite from McDonald's, be like, you know, that shit going through 4 different filters, right? As soon as you push that button, filter into your cup. Like that. And she gonna look at me like, fucking K, like...
to flash chill their sodas as they're being dispensed, so that they come out cold, but not cold. The Golden Arches, on the other hand, are pre-chilling not only the filtered water, but also the syrup to the perfect range between 33 and 38 degrees Fahrenheit, just above freezing temperatures. This range is important because it's the optimal temperatures for the carbonation of the water. You see, CO2, or carbon dioxide, the chemical compound that makes fizzy drinks fizz, has a higher rate of absorption and dispersion in colder liquids. In other words, the colder the liquid is, the more carbonation it's able to have. This is why warm drinks tend to go flat quicker. The gas is able to escape more easily. So with the Sprite's water and syrup both being pre-chilled, it's preventing...
I'm not gonna lie, now I might be a weird dude for this. I know I keep pausing, I'm sorry, but like, the best drink for me is when I pour like a hot soda into a glass of ice, and then when I drink, it's like the transition from hot to cold as I drink. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? I swear that's the best version to catch your soda. When you pour hot soda into a glass of cold of ice and you drink it and it switches, it's like while you're drinking it, it goes from that hot to cold feeling. Like that switch is amazing. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like sleeping in your bed and you find that cold spot. Like once you when you get into bed, I like to get in a cold bed. I don't know about y'all, but once I get in the bed for too long, it's like getting hot, right? So it's like when you lay in the hot bed and you're trying to find the cold spots at night. That's kind of how it is when you pour the hot soda into the ice and you're drinking it. You're trying to find them cold.
Any unwanted fluctuations in temperature when the water and syrup get mixed together in the soda fountain. In other words, the claim that McDonald's Sprite is more carbonated is technically true, but not for the reasons that you would expect. It appears like it has more to do with the colder temperatures of the water and syrup rather than any sort of artificial increase in the amount of actual bubbles being shoved into the mix. But then, what about the syrup to water ratio? One of the biggest myths that you see circulating around the internet is that the syrup to water ratio coming out of McDonald's fountains is actually higher than what's being served up in a typical bottle or can of Sprite, thereby making their soda sweeter and thus more flavorful or stronger to the drinkers. This is one, though, that McDonald's themselves have publicly shut down, saying that there's no special formula they have. That said, I'm not just gonna naturally trust a corporation. Can we take their word for it? The answer is actually somewhere between yes and no. While McDonald's claims to strictly adhere to the Coca-Cola standard of 1:5 water syrup ratio, or 1 ounce of syrup to every 5 ounces of water, they do take into consideration the ice that's being added into the drink, meaning that they have a slightly higher syrup content, but it's done so that once ice is added, you're tasting the equivalent of the standard 1:5.
Hold on. How does the ice, I might be having a dumb moment, but like, you control how much ice you put into your cup, right? So unless they're putting ice into like the water filter system, how can you exactly get the perfect ratio? Because there's some people that don't even get ice. So are they just talking about like through the filter system? I might be slow. I might be
ratio. So pro tip to all of you watching, don't skip the ice the next time you drink at McDonald's. You're gonna ruin the ratio. You'll ruin the art. And
okay, yeah, I was right. So that part is really based on if you put ice or enough ice in the cup.
Just be a tad bit too sweet. So we've gotten our cup of Sprite straight out of the fountain, nice and cold with just the right amount of ice and flavor, but there's still something else at work here, the fries. Rumor number 3 states that McDonald's hired sensory scientists to help optimize how the sweet Sprite pairs with the salty fries, all in order to make the perfect combination. And
I don't think it's necessarily true that it helps the Sprite, but I think because when you eat fries, it dehydrates you and makes you want to drink, Sprite is usually the go-to. And so most recently you're gonna want to drink the Sprite more because that's the too. And plus I don't think dark sodas like Coca-Cola, Coke compensate for that. I think they're a little too strong.
Anecdotally, there's evidence to back this one up. According to some sources, McDonald's has developed a special ketchup recipe, one that's sweeter and tangier than other brands that is specifically designed to match the saltier flavor of their fries. Now, according to my research, this has never been outright confirmed, but it is known that the company uses extensive taste testing to ensure that their products are as delicious as possible. And if they're doing it with ketchup, is it that much of a stretch to believe that they're doing it with the sodas as well? But that's not all. Back in the ancient days of the 1980s, when cars were powered by feet like the Flintstones, the French fries at McDonald's were fried using beef tallow instead of the canola oil that they use today. This made for an insanely rich, savory fry taste. Unfortunately, beef tallow is also incredibly unhealthy. So in the 90s, when the public grew more concerned about the saturated fats in their foods, they made the switch to plain old vegetable oil. Customers obviously started to complain, so McDonald's began adding natural beef flavorings to mimic the old beloved flavor. Yep, that means that the fries at McDonald's are not vegan friendly, so sorry any of you vegans out there that have been happily munching down on the golden goodness. But hey, at least they did have to pay $10 million as part of a lawsuit because...
Damn, hold on. My homies is vegan. I just asked him if he eats McDonald's
because of that very fact. Anyway, today their French fries still contain that rich umami flavor from the added beef flavoring and salt. Couple that with the refreshing acidity and sweetness of the Sprite, and you have yourself the bliss point, a term coined by market researcher Howard Moskowitz when describing the perfect balance of sugar, salt, and fat. These two complete each other like a fast food rom-com come to life. But none of it is gonna matter if you're just guzzling the Sprite like an animal. And this, my friends, is where one of the smallest parts of this process makes itself the biggest difference. The straw. Hypothesis number 4.
I don't believe the size of the straw makes that big of a... I'm sorry.
The size of the straw. Most people don't give the straw a second thought, but McDonald's gave it a second, third, and fourth thought. For example, did you know that McDonald's straws are actually wider than normal? Yeah, the diameter of a standard drinking straw is 0.24 inches, but a McDonald's straw has a diameter of 0.284 inches. Now, that might not sound like that much, but it's enough of a difference that a normal straw can actually fit inside of a McDonald's one. And just how much of that is changing the drink experience? Well, the advantage of drinking through a straw is that it delivers less liquid into your mouth, allowing you you to warm it up faster and get more aroma and flavor through volatile organic compounds, or VOCs for short. VOCs help produce aromas of the food and drinks
I feel like I'm in class and I'm learning so much new shit. I'm not gonna lie.
that we consume. Aromas that are intensified and become more complex when they warm up. That's why if you were to just take a giant
Is that like the Ratatouille effect when they eat the fruit and the like flavors pop up? No.
like a freezing Sprite, you'd barely be able to taste much outside of the brain freeze that's ravaging your head. But with a straw, it limits the amount of liquid that you can take into your mouth at a time, which lets it warm up briefly and at the same time improves air circulation in the mouth when you drink. The straw is also helping out with the carbonation because while a straw might seem smooth to us, there are actually tons of tiny little bumps and indentations in there, all places where carbon dioxide molecules can attach to, thereby creating more bubbles, promoting more effervescence. This is why paper straws, which have even more imperfections, can cause carbonated drinks to go crazy. Or at least that's how the science should play out. But does any of this actually make that substantial of a difference? It's finally time to put all these variables to the test. Take it away, live action Matt Pat.
All right, so with all our variables set and ready to go, it's time to actually put our money where our mouth is, or put our Sprite where our mouth is. I am joined on the couch by HR representative Rachel.
Now, I just want to say right
happy
now.
to be here.
Oh, my fault. I just want to say right now, that Starry shit, I don't know if anybody thinks it's a replacement for Sprite, but it's literally 7-Up. It's literally 7-Up. That Starry shit is literally 7-Up. It's not even that good. I don't think anyone's taking that Starry shit over Sprite. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think Sprite's still dominating the game. You know?
Is that the lore that I should build for you at this point?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds fancier than I am.
So before you, we have a bunch of different varieties of Sprite, so we can actually get a side-by-side taste test on what truly is the best version of Sprite. We also have variables of different straw sizes, so we can see if straw size is playing a factor in all of this. And then lastly, we have the fries right over here.
Can you really taste the difference? When it comes to all these Sprites, I probably couldn't taste the difference.
Lunchtime, which is great. We have some fries, so we can test out whether this Sprite is specifically engineered to complement the saltiness of the McDonald's fry, or if that's just a myth and they're all equally the same. So, how do you feel about Sprite?
I love Sprite, and I expect them all to taste the same, but I'm going to enjoy them all.
Yeah, you think they're all going to taste the same?
Well,
me too.
I think with the fries, I think
too.
we're going to like that one for the vibes.
Really, for the vibes?
Yeah.
Just purely vibes.
For the vibes.
Purely off of vibes.
But I don't think they're going to be that different.
I firmly disagree.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Long-term viewers of our channels will know that I can taste test the difference between Diet Coke from can to bottle to fountain to glass. Like, it's very easy for me to, even from different restaurant franchises, I can tell you different Diet Cokes. I'm an addict. I wouldn't be surprised if this taste is vastly different. So without any further ado, let's crack these guys open, shall we?
That's crazy.
This isn't a twist off. Do we have a can here? Here, go for it.
Ready?
Bottle opener or something? You just did it with your teeth. Sure.
Just a talent.
Okay.
What do you be doing with your mouth, ma'am? What kind of activities you fucking get into?
Pleasant.
Sprite.
Tastes like Sprite.
Sprite.
It's not.
So they just.
It's not as carbonated.
They just passing the bottle around and they sip out of it. I'm sorry, that's like OCD. I hate eating after people first.
But this is a good baseline of Sprite, not as carbonated as I expected, but also doesn't have that spiciness that you associate with Sprite.
It's well balanced.
Yeah, it's actually very smooth.
It's
a smooth Sprite. All right, here's the big boy. Huh.
I don't know what to do with that.
And he's licking the bottom of it? What the fuck? And he gonna put it back in the other one?
I don't either.
This feels flatter. It feels fizzier, this one does.
Right? That one feels fizzier.
I don't know if the fizz has a flavor, but it does change.
The fizz is what really feels like it gives you that like crispiness.
Yeah.
Or the little bit of the Sprite burn. And it does feel like when this one goes through this straw.
Nah, this is a fresh Sprite too, because you can still see like the little drips. You know when you get that Sprite and it's still like, you know, it's fresh because it got like the drips on the side, and it's not even really fresh. It's just from the condensation of it being so cold that it started dripping. Like, that's how you know that it just smacks Sprite. So if this is fresh, then you just got hit with that. I told you, McDonald's be having sometimes that weak ass Sprite, not that tropical Sprite.
This one feels bubbly.
It does.
Whereas this guy does not.
No trouble with that one.
Right? Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Should I enlist your teeth for this one? Huh. Okay.
You need to stop licking the bottom of this shit. That is disgusting.
That one has less flavor to me.
I agree with that. It doesn't have much to do with the carbonation, but it does feel less sweet.
Here, try this one again.
Well, maybe they're not as different as I thought.
So Sprite all really tastes the same.
Yeah,
I mean, very similar.
There's differences in carbonation, but I feel like the taste is consistent.
It does feel like the taste is consistent.
Now, the only one I think that's gonna taste different is the canned Sprite, because the canned Sprite low-key is like a hit or miss, but they're drinking it with straws. But I think the canned Sprite is going to be the only one that's different. I think it's going to be a little bit sweeter and
This
flat.
is across the board.
Yeah.
It is purely based off of carbonation and less to do with the flavor mix.
The more carbonation it feels like, the less sweet it is. Whereas like this is more that's the flattest one so far. The other ones have like an airy feel.
We did an episode a long time ago about champagne and about how the glass bottles of the champagne and why you pour it into glass, because it's able to retain the smaller bubbles better.
Oh.
And so I'm wondering if the glass bottle of the Sprite is actually playing into that in some way and is functioning the same way.
That was nice.
I was able to do that one too.
I might be wrong.
I should have offered it
I
to your
think it's
teeth
got
first, my bad. This is so vastly different.
Yep, told you.
A lot of bubbles happening.
I told you. Okay, it's probably not flat though. It's probably extra spicy, but I knew that was gonna be the different.
Those are close.
Usually the canned
With the
soda
bubbles.
is different.
In terms of the teeny bubbles? Tiny bubbles.
But it almost feels like this one has the most flavor.
This is so bubbly.
Because the other ones are just so carbonated. I feel like it's distracting.
So what have we learned here? What is the most different Sprite? They all, to me, taste the same.
Yes.
This one, I get a little bit of a sense of the can. This one tastes a bit watery because of the ice. This one is very bubbly through a straw relative to the other ones. But as far as the flavor difference, not a ton. And I'm surprised. My hypothesis, like I said at the beginning of this thing, my hypothesis was that it would be very easy to tell a flavor difference between all four of these in much the same way that you do with Diet Coke. I sit here and I think I'm completely wrong about that. All right, so with round one of the test complete, I think let's move on to the big boy straws. So this is what McDonald's is primed to give you, right?
You ever do this?
Yeah, of course.
Yours is better than mine.
I have a 4-year-old. I do it slightly.
Okay, look, he in there get his little flirt on. Okay.
That's valid.
I blew, speaking of my 4-year-old, I blew Ollie's mind one time by showing him the Giga Straw. There it is.
Why do you call it that?
The Giga Straw?
Fuck is a Giga Straw?
Yes.
Fuck is a Giga
Because it's more. Obviously, we have a bigger boy straw. So now it's time to compare the flavor of the two, right? Does the higher volume of stuff that you're getting in your mouth through this one complement this type of Sprite? Does it change things at all? Does it affect the amount of carbonation and bubbles that you're tasting? So without any further ado, back to the rounds.
I think the straw might actually change.
Right?
It's good down there. It's easier to drink.
It's easy.
It tastes the same.
It still tastes like Sprite.
It tastes the same.
Spoiler alert, drinking it through a big straw has not changed the fact that it is still Sprite.
Here you go, Matt. You can open this one.
Oh, thanks.
Don't do that, please. Please don't.
Please don't do it. That shit. Thank you.
He gave you a can opener.
He did! But it's a can opener of defeat. So wait, let's do the side by side real quick. So we got thin straw. Okay, thin straw versus thick boy. Interesting. We do it side by side.
The bubbles don't come through quite as much.
Right.
It's a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because the straw has texture on the inside, the soda's coming through it, so it's activating a lot of those bubbles, right? Here, because you're getting more fluid and less surface area, you're gonna get less bubbles overall, and that's exactly what I'm tasting here.
Yeah,
This one, the smaller straw is giving me stuff that is decidedly more bubbly and concentrating the bubbles. This is a much more balanced flavor for this guy.
This is a moment of truth.
Huh. Interesting.
What does that
I'm curious to get your opinion. I don't want to color any judgment.
To me, it's the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Here.
Stir it again. I think for some reason you almost lose the carbonation with the small straw and it comes back more with the big one. I don't think it's there quite as much as the other one still, but it is more balanced for sure.
Maybe I just like consuming my drinks like a maniac, like sicko mode.
How do you how do y'all drink? Like, do y'all like just gulp down through the straw? Do you guys like sip? Do you guys like? I have like this weird habit of like I sip, but I gulp at the same time. So like, I don't know how to explain it. I'll be honest, I don't know how to fucking explain it. That's the best way you.
I'm drinking the whole thing, and it's not giving me much of a flavor difference.
Pause.
But it's giving me like.
It's a mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's a weird mouthfeel thing, right? Where having more fluid hitting my mouth faster is more satisfying.
Yeah.
In some way, and when I'm drinking this, I find it much more enjoyable going through this straw than this straw.
I think it's just a wholer experience.
Not 100% sure what it is, but with both of the two.
You know what might play a part too, and people are gonna probably think I'm crazy for this, but like the aroma, the smell in McDonald's. I say that because my very first job, I worked at Little Caesars, right? Now, when I'm outside of Little Caesars, I go and buy the pizza and I eat it, it tastes like Little Caesars, right? But when I've been in the back and I smell the dough and I smell the fresh food and I smell the pepperonis and I see, when I eat the pizza, it has a whole different taste to it. So maybe it makes me not want to eat it, is what I'm saying. So maybe like it's a reverse thing at McDonald's, like the smell and the fragrance and all the aromas going on just make those extra flavors enhanced.
I would opt for the bigger straw. Even though I couldn't necessarily tell you why I'm opting for the bigger straw, I like it better.
For the vibes.
For the vibes.
Yeah.
For the vibes. Same thing. These straws are just too small. They create too much carbonation. And as a result, I don't get the flavor of the soda as much as just a bunch of bubbles, and I don't like that much carbonation.
That's significantly different carbonation.
Between the two.
Yeah, the flavor stays the same through all of them, I think. But the carbonation affects the flavor.
It does. 100% across the board. In every single one of these, big straw is the better option.
The flavor is better with less carbonation. Yeah.
So maybe McDonald's secret sauce here isn't so much about like the flavor or anything like that. It really boils down to the straw.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, right?
That's what I just cap.
Is as we continue to drink this, and as I get like overwhelmed with the flavor of Sprite, I appreciate the watered down, icy, this is the guy that has the watered down Sprite flavor, whereas the other ones are just like pure unconcentrated.
For them watered
and so,
downs.
like you said, this one tastes slightly different as a result of that. It tastes more mild. It's more soothing, and so like I feel like I can drink more of this, and this one at this point is like my favorite of these.
Yeah, that's
because it's not just cloying the entire time.
I feel like
yeah,
they're
it
gassing
does
it, but
feel more refreshing. I feel like that's, if I had to drink all of one of these, that one's bigger, so I don't know if that's fair, but I would drink more of that one.
Yeah, it's mellower now at this point. Again, because of the ice, but as a result, I actually like it better. So maybe what the conclusion here is that normal Sprite is just too strong of a soda. And they just need to chill it out a little bit.
It is strong as
Maybe. I mean, there's just a lot going on with flavor and carbonation in all of these, and that takes a little bit of it away, which is nice.
Which brings us to the final variable, which is the fries.
Bitches want to eat.
Right? Now the question is, will the Sprite from McDonald's be specifically engineered to complement the flavor and the saltiness of the McDonald's fry? Because they've ultimately decided that like the syrup tastes largely the same.
Is pretty much
I
watered down.
don't think that's going to be the case.
That's what
I'm
it
not
sounds
super
like.
hopeful on this one, to be honest with you. This is better with fries than the bottle, for
I agree.
sure. Maybe just the sweetness of it.
Oh, I don't like the fries with the bottle.
This just feels right.
Right? What is it?
I think it's sweeter.
I almost think the opposite,
Really?
right? Where I think these two that I just tried are so sweet and so flavored, whereas this one, again, has a little bit of that wateriness to it, which balances, like, it's mellower and a little bit waterier, which balances out against the, like, salty greasiness of the fry. If you were to ask me which one I would want, just, like, By natural impulse, which one are you drinking with these fries?
Hands down.
Hands down. Hands down.
Hands down.
Right? And again, is it a flavor difference? No. It is more refreshing.
It is. And it's gotta be a mix of like water and carbonation, and it's refreshing.
I feel like it's probably a combination of everything that we've talked about today, right? There is an element of the ice that's mixed into this, which makes it slightly more refreshing. There is an element of the straw, which makes it more consumable. And then, yeah, as I keep going back to the other Sprites, all the other Sprites have just that, again, like such a strong flavor as opposed to this guy, which is different in a good way.
Yeah, top tier.
Top tier.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah, and yeah, it's top tier and not in a way that you can clearly articulate, but is better.
Yeah.
So there you have it. After rigorous testing and absolutely attacking our stomachs with sugar, we found that McDonald's Sprite does indeed hit different, but not for the reasons you might expect. To start, the carbonation was actually less in the McDonald's Sprite than the others. We didn't really feel that snap, crackle, or pop, but you know what? It worked, and we're not the only ones to think so.
This one kind of tasted too fizzy for me. I actually kind of like these better than that one.
The lack of carbonation there was a real surprise considering the science behind the McDonald's process. The cold filtered water should have allowed for more carbonation, but the ice and the rate at which the plastic cup heated up might have affected the fizziness. We also found that the flavor was milder and a little bit sweeter. Ultimately, it amounted to an overall more pleasant experience and was the drink that we agreed would be the one that we'd keep coming back to. But in the end, the one variable that made the biggest difference across all the taste tests, the bigger straw. A fact that, I gotta be honest, was absolutely shocking to me. The wider straw made the perfect balance so you got enough fluid so you could taste the flavors, but also adding in just the right amount of bubbles. And even though Rachel and I didn't quite see eye to eye on what made the Fountain Sprite our favorite to partner with the fries, it was in a different league than any of the others in terms of how refreshing it was to drink and how well it worked with all that salty greasiness. In the end, the secret to McDonald's Sprite wasn't a matter of taste, which makes sense considering there's nothing special about the syrup that McDonald's is using nor the container they keep it in. Instead, it was a matter of how pleasant the entire drink experience ended up being. It's a finely tuned process that takes into account everything from temperature, the amount of ice, the straw you're sipping through, the dishes that you're enjoying alongside the drink. All of those things combined to make McDonald's Sprite truly special. And sure, it didn't quite make me feel like static, lightning, or the meteor that killed the dinosaurs, but we obeyed our thirst, and I was quenched.
It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchier.
But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bottoms up.
No, I really like these food theories. I'm gonna have to tune in a little bit more. I'll fuck with the food theories. That was a great video. Great video, food theory. I fuck with y'all. I think I just subscribed already. No, I'm not. Oh.